my name's Harlan. Yeah. Alright. Okay, my name's Harlan. I was born. Oh, I'm telling my testimony, by the way. So that's basically the story of my life and how Jesus is awesome despite me. And so I will tell you that story. So sit back and enjoy the story. Alright, so about 19 years ago, I was born in Morden, Manitoba, but then I came to the good side and went earlier. Yep, I grew up outside of Morden, out in the sticks by a creek. Spent my childhood wandering in the forest, glades. Yeah, that was pretty fun, and that's basically all I did, so I can skip ahead. I was homeschooled for a little bit, so I think I turned it over. I became a Christian when I was 2, 4, when I could comprehend things. So basically all my life. So yeah, it's been good. It's been pretty cool. So yeah, Christian at a young age. So I went to school in Morden. It was a good time. And let's see, grew up going to church, Sunday school, doing youth group, all that good Christian stuff that you do when you're a Christian. Except it was just the thing that your family did. You go to church, you do youth. I have an older sister, and she did all those things, and so I was like, I want to do that too, because it looks like fun, you know, you just play games, and then you talk about the Bible and stuff. So it's pretty fun. Just grew up doing that, so it's pretty normal. So, yeah, early childhood and stuff was pretty basic, not too crazy. So, my parents had gone to Australia. No, I went to Australia. My parents went to Cambodia. Skipping ahead. Alright. So my parents went to Cambodia in 2006, and then a couple of years later, they took me along. And for me, I was like 10, 9. So I was one of those young little crouton kids, and just kind of, it was basically just like a vacation. So, but they were doing mission stuff, feeding kids and hanging out with the songs and stuff, and I was like, let's play basketball. Okay. And so that's how it was. And yeah, and then later on, I went back with them. It was a good time. Basically the same thing, just hung out with the kids and stuff like that. It wasn't like, yeah, let's make a whole bunch of Christians, because I was like 13, no, 14, yeah, 13 or 14. And so it was just like, whatever, let's have fun in like plus 30 degree weather and run around temples and stuff and chase things and all the good things. And so I had pretty much gone through life fairly easy and stuff, so it was, yeah, I got pretty lazy. I guess because once a Christian, you're just like, I'm a Christian, so I guess I don't really, don't really have to worry about much, and I was pretty well off in my eyes. Or so I thought it was. I thought it was hot stuff. Which, looking back, I was not hot stuff, because I had a bowl cut. And that was a bad school year. Yeah. Don't look that up. Don't even check in the schools. It's really bad. So yeah, after my bowl cut season, God had better plans for me than bowl cuts. So yeah, I thought I was a hot bag of chips, and I definitely wasn't, So after I went to Cambodia for the second time, time to tell some stories. just started learning the drums, and I thought I was a hot step on the drums, and I was not. I was really bad at the drums. But anyways, so we had just gotten off the plane, drove home, washed my clothes, drove to camp, and then did 2 weeks of camp. And that's kind of where I actually became a Christian. Well, I guess I was a Christian, you know, you say the words, you say the prayer, all that good stuff, just go to church. So technically I was a Christian, but I wasn't really a Jesus follower. He wasn't really alive or real to me. Like, he was just the dude you read about in the New Testament. He died, he rose for your sins, all that good stuff. I was like, sick, I'm good, scot-free, and all that good stuff. So then, at camp, I got really humbled because I thought I was that hot stuff, you know, it was just like super prideful. And I didn't even see it. I was blinded by my hubris. And so, yeah, God kind of cut me down a notch. I was just like, we were sitting there and we were saying like stuff we had learned, and then I had said something because I just kind of made something up about what I learned. And I was like, yeah, we just had lots of fun, you know, playing drums. And all of a sudden, I was just hit. I was just sitting there with everybody in our group, and I just got hit with like every bad thing that I did, and like that. And so like from even the donut I accidentally stole once, that was like 10 years before that. Stupid little donut. I thought they were free. Turns out they weren't free, and I ended up. Sorry. Still feel bad. And so like all the stupid stuff I had done, I was like, crap, I'm a terrible person. And like I have no right to be saying things about myself, like how good I am and stuff like that. Because I've been just comparing to other people. I'm like, I didn't kill anybody. I'm awesome. I'm super good, you know. I'll get top tier Christianity, you know. And so yeah, I was hit with that, and it just came. I saw it all, and I was okay. That was overwhelming, and then all of a sudden, like Jesus was like, despite that, like I still love you just as much as something like that. And I started crying, and I want to be really cool, you know, so like you can't cry in front of your friends. So I booked it to the bathroom, and there was not enough tissue paper in there. And I was like just crying. And the snot everywhere, super gross. And then like the counselor came in, and was like, dude, what the heck is wrong with you? I'm like, I don't know. Jesus is real. And then I tried to control myself. I was like, I gotta wipe these tears away. Nobody can see me like this. And then so it was like ground beef, like spaghetti. And so I was like, I had to eat with my fork. I was so overwhelmed. And I kept crying. What the heck is wrong with me? And that was a good and bad day. And it was mostly good. So that's kind of where Jesus became real for me. And then I kind of like, there's that Christianese words, you know, like came on fire. And I was like, dude, like Jesus is real. And I want to live for him and stuff like that. So it was super fantastic summer. And then you go back to school, and I wasn't, I guess, very solid in the foundation of like, I didn't know how to like continue the relationship and stuff like that, to be intentional with it. So at school, you slip back into high school, you know, hanging out with friends and stuff like that. You just do stupid things, and well, it didn't kill anybody, so you know, I'm good. But yeah, just did some. Yeah, it went back to normal of just like how it had been before, just nice and stale. And then after the next summer, I went back to camp as summer staff, except I was only 15. I should have been a camper again, not staff, because staff at 15 is not a good idea when you're counseling like 15. I was very unwise and foolish as a kid. So they put me on maintenance because they were wise, and so I didn't actually talk with any kids. I just drywalled the house. That was awful because it was one day. They had put up a slip and slide. It's like plus 30, so it's stinking hot in here in this house. We're drywalling it, super dusty. You can't breathe, and it's super hazy in there, and you just want to pass out. And you look outside the window, and there's these kids, and they're just like slipping and sliding. Like, it was like a good time. And so, therefore, it was proof that I should not have been staff yet. But God used me and stuff like that, despite that. So it was good. And then went back to school, kind of went back to normal. We had that, woo, Jesus! And then I kind of was, oh, school. Guess I'll do homework and stuff. And go to church. Summer's here, woo, Jesus! Kind of did that for like 3 years. Don't do that. That's a bad move. So parched. Alright. Okay. So, alright. Okay, so grade 12 came around. I had moved to Winkler in grade 11. Praise the Lord. Yeah. So good. So good. Yeah, it was pretty fantastic. Went to GC for a bit. Fantastic. Went to school with this guy. I did 4-H as a kid, so I'm going to public speak. I'm not going to use. But it didn't work, obviously. Freaking 4-H. Okay. Alright, high school, grade 12. Right, so, I was at NPC. The last summer there, I went to camp again, but only for 2 weeks because I was working at Meadows. That was a good summer. Doing go-karts and stuff like that. It was fantastic. And then, so right after I graduated, right after the summer, so my sister, she had done for a thing called YWAM, which is Youth with a Mission. So it's like all over the world, there's bases, which is just houses, buildings and stuff where Christians go, and usually they're young people, and they just want to learn more about Jesus and do super crazy things, and they learn about the Holy Spirit and stuff. And so my sister had done that, and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. Because as a kid, usually people are like, oh, be a cowboy, be an astronaut, and all that good stuff. And I'm like, I don't know what to do at all. And so there was like a stint in grade 6 where I thought, I'll be on the NBA, but I'm not 7 feet tall, and I'm a super boy. So that doesn't really work out too well. So I heard about YWAM. I was like, that seems cool, you know, it seems like a cool Christian thing to do. Bible school, I don't know. I went to SBC as like the overnight thing. SBC is great, but I'm not a Bible school kid. I was just a Bible school kid. Okay. So I looked around. My sister had gone to New Zealand. I don't want to follow my sister's footsteps because who does that? So I looked around and I applied in Australia, on the East Coast, and then it was all looking good. Like, yeah, this is gonna be sick. We're waiting. We're so excited for you to come. It's like, awesome. I'm gonna be in Australia. And then it was like less than a month before it started. Like, hey, by the way, if you're only 17, we can't really accept you because of visa stuff. And so, like, oh, okay, cool. Well, I guess this isn't working out. So I didn't go to Australia, but I applied for one in Oxford, New Zealand, in the South Coast, and that's one that my sister had gone to. So it's like, okay, I guess I'll go in. It's in New Zealand, I can make it mine. And so I got accepted. I was like, woo! I'm going across the sea, and it's gonna be fantastic. And God had store besides fantastic. It was super amazing. So I came there, and yeah, it was really cool at first, because growing up in a Mennonite community, it's kind of like you go to church, you go to youth, and you sing worship songs and stuff like that, and it's good, you're just doing stuff, except it's a little dry. But Mennonites like dry humor too, so yeah, it was dry. So going to New Zealand, there was a lot of interesting people there that were just super on fire for God, and they didn't care about anybody or what. Well, they cared about people, yes, of course they cared. They didn't care what they thought of. No, wait. That did not come out right. Okay, they care about people, they love people, but they don't care what people think about them. Alright, does that make sense? Okay. Alright. So yeah, so there were people who also wanted to earnestly pursue God, stuff like that. So sweet. This will be really cool. So, yeah, the first week was fantastic learning about, or just like making sweet friendships with these people from all over the world, like Europe and California, and all over the place, and all these sick people. In New Zealand, which is by far the most beautiful country in the world. So yeah, we were there, we had speakers and stuff like that, talk to us about Jesus, and that's kind of where I learned more about having, words are so hard. Alright, learning about having like a real relationship with Jesus, because like I went to church, did youth stuff, I learned about the Bible, memorizing Bible verses and all that stuff, but there was this like thing that I was missing, which was a relationship with the person that died for me and rose again. So it became even more real, realer than the first time. And this time I had people around me who were also in the same boat, and like growing each other and stuff like that. So I learned how to hear God's voice, and like He actually talks to people, and it's not like praying to the void, Dear Jesus, I thank you. Hello? Is this thing on? Yeah. And so there's like this person, Jesus, and he's like this real being that actually, like, he doesn't just hear what you have to say, like he has things to say to you. And that was pretty amazing. So that's kind of where my life took off. So I did the backpacking DTS, discipleship school. So backpacking includes hitchhiking across the country and climbing mountains and all that stuff. So that was really sweet. So on the weekends we would stick our thumbs out with the backpack, get picked up by some random people. There are some pretty interesting folks in New Zealand, but really sweet. I got picked up by a lady who showered me in beaches. And it was pretty significant. Yeah, it was pretty cool. And coolest story ever. So we had like a faith weekend. You're like, what's faith weekend? So faith weekend is where it's my segment. Okay. Sorry, stop up. Alright, okay. Faith weekend. So it's where you get like $10, you have one or two other people, and you just pray about where you're going to go and stuff like that, and you're just going to depend on God and have faith, depending on God to do some amazing stuff. So we set out, stuck our thumbs out on the highway, got picked up by a lady right away. She dropped us off in the next town. $20 after we told him about what we were going to do. The time he was like, "You guys sick." So he was $20. So we tripled our money. It's so good. Yeah. So anyways, carrying on, we got picked up. Okay, this guy in the gym. So we got picked up by a Romanian with a nice neck beard. Very nice. And he picked us up. He had actually drove him past, and then he was like, "I should pick up these guys because they look cool." And so he comes back and he's like, "Hey, where are you guys going?" "Hey, we're going to Dunedin." He's like, "Sick, I'm going halfway there." Awesome. So we get in his car. Turns out he's like on a mission trip to these Romanian churches, and he's visiting churches and stuff like that. So it's really cool. And he had like this massive Bible, huge. It was English and Romanian and stuff like that. And he had just studied this thing hard. This guy knows his beans. And so we spent basically 5 hours just talking about God and stuff like that, and about what he thought and what we thought and stuff like that. So we just got to like really encourage each other and stuff. Super fantastic. And then this guy's so good. He was like, "Dude, you guys hungry?" So we go to Domino's and he buys us freaking pizza. What? Oh, praise the Lord. This guy's amazing. That was good. He was great. So, dude, it was sick. And then we went to the grocery store, and he's like, because he had like used, he always used examples in everything he said. He was like, take for example, the story of the Bible. You know the part where Herod granted his niece or something half the kingdom, and so I grant you half of the story. And so he gave us Mountain Dew and pizza. Oh man, this guy was sick. And then we drove into the town that he was going to, which is about 2 hours. And then he's like, "You guys are staying in Dunedin, right?" And that's another 3 hours. "Dude, I'll drive you all the way." Okay, sweet. So we drove the rest of the 3 hours, and then he's like, "You guys are staying in a hostel, right?" And a hostel is kind of like a hotel, except really cheap, but you have to sleep in a big room with like a bunch of weird people. Yeah, so you kind of like hotel, hostel. Hostels are cool. There's cool people there. It's not always weird. So yeah, he's like, you guys are staying 2 nights in Dunedin. So he called somebody, some random person, and he's like, "Here you go. Got you 2 nights in a hostel in Dunedin." And so he drove us there, and it was like 11 at night, and then he dropped us off, and he drove back 3 hours again, just like right away. And then, wow, this guy is super cool. So we had a place to stay, which was really good, because there were other groups that had been traveling down too from our school, and one of the groups stayed the night in a $700 a night hotel room with some Chinese guy who kept on offering him beer. It was really funny. And then he was drunk the whole time. And then there was another couple that they got offered helicopter rides, and one group slept under a bridge, and then the other group slept in some botanical garden. They just pitched a tent and slept there. We got to stay the night in a nice hostel. So yeah, we went there for the weekend. Super cool. So yeah, that was kind of like how it went with our school. We kind of learned stuff with speakers, and then learned more about the Holy Spirit and stuff, and how God wants to talk to us. And then learning about evangelism. So growing up, I was a really shy person, and not very loudly spoken. So I've been kind of, like, if I had the choice to talk to a stranger, or just like meeting with friends or something, I just So there were teams that went to India, Nepal, the North Island of New Zealand, Australia, Cambodia, Thailand. Yeah, that's it. So we got to like pray about the team. Hey guys, listen. Welcome here. It's all good. Just my life story spilling out my heart. Don't worry. Alright. Okay. So we went to Queenstown to find out about our outreach teams. And Queenstown is the place where they film all of the rings scenery and stuff. So I actually got to climb the mountains. It's pretty awesome. We almost died actually, because the mountains there were really scary and it was all shale. And that's another story. Anyways, so then I found out our team of 9. I was on the team that was going to Australia and New Zealand. So that was pretty sick, because there's no language barrier, which means you actually have to talk. Why did I choose? It's really I should have done the ball where you don't have to talk to people, you just give them hugs. And so, but for some reason, I went to Australia. So, we flew out there. We actually got to miss a flight, so we actually got to see the Opera House. It's pretty cool. And then we went on to Brisbane, and we stayed 2 weeks on a roofing farm, which is kind of like a hostel, except instead of paying money to stay, you have to milk cows. Cool. Yeah, so it's pretty sick. Pretty good deal. You know, just feed some chickens, milk cows, and you get a free place to stay. So it's pretty cool. So we got to talk to the other travelers that were there, like from Belgium, like a place in Germany, stuff like that, talking about Jesus and what they thought about it and what we were doing and stuff. So it was pretty cool. Killed the chicken there. Milked the wild cats. And then we went on to Byron Bay, which is hippie town, but actually it's where everybody in the world moved on to the thousands, and they stayed in the 70s. And they smoked pot. So that's Byron Bay. Welcome to Byron Bay. And so that was really challenging, because everyone's drunk or high, and you're supposed to come about Jesus. And you can't really. Well, you can. No, Jesus. And then they kind of like, everything's cool. So it was really challenging. So we just made like pancakes and stuff like that. And with people, had a rabbi. He was in Byron Bay. And stuff like that. So it was pretty interesting. And then after that, we went to Sunshine Coast. Sunshine Coast Day. And then did some wakeboarding there because it was our week off. After that, we went back to New Zealand on the North Island this time. I hear like some faint yelling. Some sound. And so I walk up the stairs. As I'm crazy. And so as I'm walking up the stairs, because there's a cliff that you have to like climb down. It took us an hour to find the way down because it's so confusing. And so as I'm walking up the stairs, I look up, and there's a dude mid-flight falls into the trees, like 30 feet out. Did I just see that? Was that a person? What is my name? What? Oh, somebody fell off a cliff. What? That's not normal. So freaking out. This is a high cliff. I'm saying like 50 meters. That's pretty high. Higher than the diving boards will combine. And so people are yelling, things are happening. So we go. They were so deep in the bush or whatever that we had to like go down, somehow climb up. So apparently, this 12-year-old kid had, they were going with their family. The dog had gone off the path, and then so he had gone this bunny trail, and it was overhang. So you can't really see that there's a cliff there. And so this kid did a bit of a tumble. Yeah, it's yeah, so did a tumble, fell into the bushes, and then 2 minutes later, when I was coming up, the dad decided to come after him. And yeah, so they were in the bushes. So we walked up there, or ran, or did whatever, scrambled our way. And the kid had lost his shoe in the tree, lost something like backpack, all over the place, and then managed to miss a nice rock that was sticking out of the ground. Not much over the ground. It's like this point. Missed that, and then wedged himself between 2 boulders. So that was pretty weird. I'm pretty lucky of him. He had a huge concussion. He was moaning and groaning and not saying real words in English. So we were like, oh, this is crazy. And so the dad, he had landed on his backpack, smashed his ankle, was done, and his shoulders and stuff like that. He was awake, and so we were like trying to calm him down, praying for these people and stuff like that. Super wild. And then eventually, there was a guy from Harlan, and they had gotten a helicopter to come pick him up because it's just a big hole, basically. And so the helicopter came, this guy took off his swim trunks, he was waving them in the air. It was desperate times, called for desperate measures, guys. And so he's waving them in the air, the helicopter comes, they drop a guy, the firefighter people are coming in, and we're like, we're not going stuff like that. And so we got to save people's lives. What? And so that was pretty cool. It was like about 2 hours the whole thing took place and stuff like that. And then eventually after they had left to the hospital, we got in our van and went back to the house we were staying at, and I played Black Ops for the rest of the day. Pretty good day. Yeah. So that was crazy. Super cool. I don't really know if there's a lesson. Don't fall off cliffs. I was trying to think something. Anyways, so yeah, that was our day off. So the next day we took a real day off. And that was the North Island, basically. And then we went back to the South Island, Beach Sound again. To the coffee house and there was sweet dude. Yeah, it was pretty fantastic. And then I went home after that. It was pretty cool. So now, after that, I had gained just like a really good relationship with Jesus and stuff like that. It was real and it was super good. He grew me a lot. Yeah, just wisdom and maturity and learning my gifts that he has for me. And kind of the plan that he had for me as well was kind of hinted at while I was there. So that was pretty cool. So I got home and I spent the next month and a half after that sleeping for about 13, 14 hours a day. That was a good rest. Except don't sit down because then you're in a coma basically. So that was after that, I worked at camp again, except as spring staff, so that was 4 months. So that was pretty sick. Stayed there. I was in charge of weaponry and sports camp, so I got to throw knives and shoot arrows all day. It was pretty great. And so yeah, so then in camp that year, this last summer, I got to use the gifts that I learned and stuff like that. It wasn't just like this crazy, and then we're back. It was just like, there was no chart anymore. It was just, this is like, it's awesome. There's no, like, there's good parts, bad parts. Like, Jesus is always there, like that. And so it was just like, throw away that crap. And we just live it. So it was pretty sick. Great to see that too much. It was pretty sick. It was pretty sick. Why am I saying that? So I'm thirsty. The water was pretty sick. Okay, where was I? Camp. Hey, so that was pretty cool. No, it's the same thing. It was a good time. So, okay, stop now. Okay. Yeah, good camp. Good stuff. And it was really cool. Got to teach the kids about sportsmanship and all that good stuff. It was super fantastic. Really good year. Got some sick stuff. So, just before camp ended, I realized that after camp, I had nothing planned. And then there's that pressure, like, oh, I need to have something with my life so that people, when they ask me, hey, what are you doing? And I'll be, I'm doing this. And so people had asked me like, the whole time before camp ended, so what are you doing next? Well, I want to get a time, please. Just let me finish camp. Gosh, so much pressure here. And so I started asking God, like, hey, what do you want me to do after camp? And let me do something with live on camp. So I started looking, and there was a guy in my school who had signed up for a filmmaking school. So like, that'd be pretty cool. So I kind of looked it up, and I found out there was an acting school. And so during my DTS, there was a guy who had said, that I have a calling kind of thing in media and stuff like that. Cool. I'll hold on to that and stuff like that. So, media, something to do with media. So I've been looking around, and I found an acting school. Secular stuff. It sounds really good. That's something I would like to do. So I signed up, and the school started 2 days after camp ended. So camp ended, partied, went home, washed my clothes, packed my stuff, went to dinner for it. Classic. So that was pretty cool. Okay, so I went. The school was in Brisbane, and where I'd been at. So I kind of knew people. So I went back to Brisbane in end of August and started learning about acting. So that was all new. Well, I'd done skits at camp. But skits at camp is like you memorize a page and you just be really stupid with the lines you have, and then somehow a message gets across and they're really funny. So that was kind of my acting experience besides the the grade 6 play that I was in, where I was a rat and Pied Piper. I just walked around the stage once a week. So, pretty great. And then the other acting stuff I had done was in like some winter play where I auditioned for the main role, but I lost it, so some other kid did a way better job than me. And I got to be on stage with a cane. And it was really fun. And I had a bowl cut, so it was extra funny. So that was my acting experience. And so I walked into it pretty new with all those kinds of things. So I learned a lot during this past time of just acting and how to do it, and stuff like that, and how to use it for God and stuff like that, and how it can be an influence in those kinds of industries and stuff. So I got to meet a cool lot of people. I got to meet somebody from the cast of Arrested Development. Ooh. Yeah. I don't know if I pretty cool, but he won an Emmy the day after, so you can see if you can produce that. It's pretty cool. I got to meet somebody from the show Nashville. If you guys watch that, Race of Nashville. And he's a musician. So there was pretty sweet people we got to meet that are actually doing stuff. It's pretty awesome. And encouraging, like, people are actually doing this. And stuff like that, so I got to learn a lot of music and stuff. So that's what I did for 3 months. We got to be in short films and stuff like that. So I learned about kind of God's plan for me, which is really weird to say that it's like acting or media, because people are, God's plan for me is to go to Africa for the rest of my life and save the children and bring people to Jesus. That is somebody's plan. And so I've been like, maybe I'll just go somewhere that God wants me to go and save people, in third world countries. Because that's what missionaries are, right? They go to third world countries and they bring the Bibles and they go in there because those are missionaries. And so I've learned that, God kind of called me somewhere else. And it's really interesting that it's in that kind of line of work of an actor and stuff like that. So I've been learning about God teaching me about that, how to step out in that kind of way. I don't know if that makes sense. It might make sense. Am I interesting, you guys? Okay. I'll keep talking. What time is it? Maybe I shouldn't keep talking. I have 2 minutes. Okay, so lesson time, I guess, because that's what we do. Maybe I should. Maybe I will. But no. Anyways, I'll just talk. Okay. So, I guess what I'll leave you with is that, God's got a plan for all of you and stuff like that. And it may not look exactly how you think it will be. I've learned that many times with things that God tells me that He's going to do. Sick. That's going to be super cool. And then my mind is like, it's going to be like this. It's going to be so cool to me. It's going to be like that. And then you do it, and it turns out way better than you thought it would be. Like, wow, my ideas are stupid compared to God's. Stuff like that. So I've been humbled a lot. So, yeah. I guess the reason behind this talk is for you guys to get to know me better, I guess. Do you guys feel like that's working? Yeah. And some of you have been here for the first time, so hey. Yeah. I'm really bad at first impressions. People will think I'm an idiot at first, so good thing I met you guys, some of you guys beforehand, so you guys know me a little bit. So I guess, yeah, that's my life, and yeah, God's got a plan for all of you. Said that already, and He. Tim, help me. Okay. Awesome. Look at that face. Isn't that beautiful? We're good hands of this. So, okay, for next week, we have got some special guest speakers coming out.
Their names are Jeff, there we go. Jeff and Nikki Badman. They're going to be coming down next week, Friday. They're going to be talking to all of us. It's husband and wife team. They've got a really good presentation that they're going to have for you guys. So I really love it. And you can all be here again next Friday. Bring your friends out, because it's going to be an awesome evening. And we've got some other cool stuff lined up for that evening. So if you can make it to that, definitely do that. So, as for the big announcement, sorry, that wasn't the big announcement. I do have a big announcement. On April 22nd, which is a Friday coming up in about 2 or 3 months from now, that guy is going to be speaking here. Woo! Zach Hanner is going to be coming to Winkler, and he's going to be speaking to you guys on a Friday. So all these goofy videos that I've been showing you guys, you get to meet him. He's got a new book that he's written. It's coming out at the beginning of March. So he's going to be here talking about his book, talking about his life, his videos, and you know, if anybody wants to purchase a book, you can get a book, you can get it signed by him. I've bought a bunch of books already. So over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be giving out some of those as prizes or gifts to you guys. So when he shows up, if you like, you can get him to sign your books. So that's something I really hope you guys can look forward to. And think about inviting your friends to. Because you know what? He's going to be speaking for 2 nights. The first night will be a night for the public where people are actually going to have to buy tickets to come in and hear him speak, because bringing him out here to speak is like several thousands of dollars. So we got to try to figure out some way to pay for all of that to get him out here. But the Friday night when he's here speaking to you guys, it's going to be free, because he loves speaking to young people and he really wants to be motivational and inspire you guys. So hopefully that's a date you guys can think about and mark on your calendars and look forward to, because I think it's going to be pretty cool. This guy that we've seen on videos for most of the year is actually going to be here on this stage in his wheelchair talking to you about his life. So that is it for the evening. I hope you guys stick around for the rest of the night. Hope you have a great time. Remember, those of you that are new here, you can go to the canteen and grab your free drink. All right, thank you very much, guys.